Hey people, you're back with Bunky. So, here we are guys, it's the last video of the meme guide now, with the last character on the list, the Cabal Vanguard. That is how you pronounce it, I looked it up. Definitely one of the most unique characters available, has a real hybrid feel. Let's just jump into the build so I can show you what I'm talking about, okay? It's still rocking the Poison Strike, guys. I'm going to get more into this power and its crazy voodoo. It built it the same, okay, only go to the 4th rank and I get the range, because I do just sort of like to get around with this power. It's a very useful aspect of it. I don't know, I just really don't see a demand or a need for anything else this power has on offer. If I was to fully spec it out, you definitely would need the recharge speed. I would go with like poison duration, and I'd probably go with poison strength actually, so you know, you're just increasing the length of the dot, you know, and obviously paralyzing targets is always good for crowd control and stuff. There's some definitely great potential, the double dash. I think if you were going to go with like a double dash build, you actually would want damage in the first evolution as well. I know it sounds crazy, but you would actually get a lot of damage out with Poison Strike, but I'll get more into it into the gameplay. The way my build goes though is it's all about the Nightshade Blades, guys. These things are amazing. I build them this way now, okay? I go with damage for the first evolution, still want Poison Duration for the next evolution. And then I go with the Exploding Blades, okay? This has got some incredible crowd control behind it, so that's what I'm going to recommend you do. Oh, those damn church bells. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that. I've been waiting patiently for these bells to stop ringing so I can just give you like a clean commentary, but that fucking, those guys go on for hours and hours and they stop and they start. I'm sorry, I'm just going to try and talk louder over them. For biotic focus, okay, this is how I still recommend you build it. If you guys sort of checked out the test drive video, that's what I'm referring to here. You go with damage taken for the first evolution, then go with duration for the next evolution, and go with biotic shields for the next evolution. The Turian Veteran, okay, it's still very much a power build as far as I'm concerned, guys. I go with damaging capacity, power damage, but then I'm going to rock some of that damage and stability, because stability things on the Turians is just awesome. It's really cool to have it, and you know, some weapon damage, you can't go wrong really. That leaves us with enough points to get into the 4th rank on the Venom Gauntlets, which is basically a fitness, guys. Go with durability, because that brings up your barriers to 1,200 and you've got 800 health. So, you know, it's certainly not the squishiest character out there, although due to the fact that we haven't got biotic charge, it's kind of going to feel like we are. Don't worry too much about it though, guys, so we're going to be looking at the weapon now. I'm still rocking the Wraith, okay? I've tried a lot of different guns, I'll get more into that too. But ultimately, I still found that I really like the Wraith on this character, okay? I go ahead and I stick the Smart Choke and the High Velocity Barrel on it. It's a non-DLC weapon, so I don't have to worry about that extra weight there, guys. I just got everything I need there on the gun. For the equipment, it's still all about getting those explosions off, guys. Go with the incendiary rounds, plug one of them in there, get some nice fire explosions on the go. You're also going to see that just the crazy amount of damage over time you can do with this character is really going to be excellent with the incendiary rounds. The armor bonus, I like a cyclonic modulator, guys. Go with the cyclonic modulator. You're going to need it. Get your 3s and 4s on. For the gear bonus though, Nightshade Blades play a much more important role now. They're basically spammy with them, to be honest. Get the grenade capacity on so that you can do that. And then finally for your weapon bonus, go ahead and get the appropriate rail lamp. It's obviously going to be a shotgun rail lamp for me. That's us. Let's jump into the gameplay. Okay, looks like the church bells have packed it in, so it doesn't have to be Bunky versus the church, because, you know, that's worked out great for everybody in the past, hasn't it? It's going to be me, Dom, Myth, and one of Myth's buddies, Local Whisper, actually, so there's a major Dutch invasion on the Welsh borders here, but we're going to have some fun together. It's unknown gold. We're going to get Reapers on London. Now this character has some seriously awesome mobility. She just basically dances atop the realm of physics, but you know, this naturally causes some issues as the physics of the game kind of fail to keep up. I'm going to get beat up in this game, guys, and none of it's my fault. If it wasn't the classic, the ops pack said no, it was this character sort of leaping and jumping into dangers I was aiming to avoid or had no intention of investigating. Don't worry though, guys, I'm going to dish out as good as I get. Ideally, I'd upload clean and professional games every time, but that would deny the reality of what I'm sure is everyone's experiences with this game. There are just some genuine issues with this character that you all ought to be aware of. It's an important part of doing well with this character. So, I've decided to just go ahead and show you all this gameplay anyway, so I can actually talk about these problems as you witness them. I mean, there was a Hazard Glacier game before this, and I smashed it, guys. It was awesome gameplay. But we actually ended up wiping on Extraction because the boys got deaded, and then I poison striked away from the Hazard, only get instantly sync killed on the other side of the wall. Because that's what you can do with this character. You can go anywhere in an instant. You just got to be sure that that's where you want to be, or you want to properly control how you get there. See, this chick rocks the evasive maneuvers I wish the Fury had. It's that awesome, oh shit, get me out of here, teleport, but it takes off instantly, there's no delay. Your other ability is Poison Strike, which as you can see there's not going to take me anywhere. I wanted to strike for the enemies, but it just sort of nudged me forward. This is the kind of issues I'm going to get into in a moment, guys. But it's pretty cool. It's another way of getting around the map. It seems to be the replacement for Biotic Charge. I know, oh my god, a Vanguard without charge. I'll get more into that shortly, but, the Poison Strike, it can just rocket you around the map in an instant as well. So you do just cruise about all over the place, really, in a really cool way. But whereas there is, no delay, there is failure to launch, however. There's also plenty of overshooting. For the most part, this is with Poison Strike, and it can be controlled, but sometimes it's with your dodge, and this just fucks you up. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, it's going to happen soon. I don't melee with this character, to be honest. It's a pretty cool melee, but it's just really not strong enough unless you spec into it, and to spec into it means you got to spec out of other stuff, which is better, to be honest. But the heavy melee is supposed to make you go behind the enemy, and then you strike them in the back. I'm going to try and do it on a husk, and it's not going to do that for me. It's just going to make me paint him green so he can hump my face. There's a lot of problems like that with this character. But firstly, let's talk about Poison Strike. This is what really stands out about the character. But plenty of people have such issues with it, they just plain don't use it. It's Biotic Charge's replacement, so bam. There's your first issue. Lots of players exalt Biotic Charge as the Vanguard's rite of passage, believing a Vanguard's got to have charge and like an infiltrator's got to have cloak. I welcome breaking this boundary with open arms, personally. There's only so much you can do with the same power, and there's only so many ways you can play with said power. However, Poison Strike is nowhere near as useful or effective as Biotic Charge, unfortunately. That being your next issue. It doesn't strengthen your character in any way. It doesn't enable you to do more damage or take more damage. It simply does some damage and moves you around the map, and not in a controlled way like Biotic Charge. A player is very free as the Cabal, which I can appreciate can be a little overwhelming for players, especially since they've been made so used to one way to play the Vanguard class. Because Biotic Charge was always so clear and simple. Vanguards led the assault. They can do this because Biotic Charge gets them there. They can do that because Biotic Charge helps them survive an assault. They can do that because Biotic Charge makes their assault stronger. A really simple, neat package. Poison Strike's a real wild card. It doesn't do the work for you. It's there for you to utilize to get the job done. So now you're thinking on your own feet. And there's your next issue. What the fuck do you do with Poison Strike? People don't know. It takes them anywhere, anytime. And what it does to the enemy isn't always clear or consistent. There's your last issue, because you can strike through an enemy and do, well, it appears to do nothing. It's like sometimes you can paint them green and see their health bar flicker, but they don't actually lose health. Sometimes you can charge through them and they fall on their ass and stuff. The feedback's never really clear as to what Poison Strike is doing, and that just throws off a ton of people. I'll tell you about Poison Strike. I'll tell you what it's about. Poison Strike lets you close the gap. Everything else the Cabal has going on is for close quarters, so that's where you want to be, guys. Poison Strike also helps you evade damage. You're invulnerable when you're invisible, and it literally sort of flings you behind the enemy. So it briefly places you out of their line of sight, so you're not taking any sort of gunfire or anything. Because, you know, a power build of the Cabal cannot take a hit, so you do want that. However, when you do this, you also apply damage over time to the enemy. Poison Strike also will detonate explosions. So that's what Poison Strike's about, doing the damage and getting away. Any build that incorporates it will be a hit-and-run build. Now, you can Poison Strike any time. You don't need a target. Poison Strike tries to take you where you're aiming. So, you know, for whatever distance it's set for, you've got the evolutions that you can pick there. You'll go through any obstacle as long as your finishing position is accessible. This is why you can actually cut your strike short by aiming too low when you do it, okay? This way the boundaries of the map make your path inaccessible, i.e. you can't go through the floor and end up below the map. Well, or at least you shouldn't. I'm not going to rule that out. There's been some issues with the Vanguards in the past. So, you know, you can use this to make sure, you know, this is what I'm telling you now. You can use this knowledge to make sure you go the distance, make sure you aim straight, or strategically shorten the length of your attack by aiming low, so that perhaps you can attack the group that's in front of you instead of going through the wall on the other side. Or, you know, say there's a wall behind a group of enemies. You only want to attack the enemies, but if you just sort of strike straight through, you might go all the way to the other side of the wall and just be in a big open area and get yourself shot up, which is actually going to happen to me in this gameplay. That's going to be one of my deaths there. Now, I also want to take this time to thank one of my subscribers, Delisia91. I'm probably pronouncing that all wrong. I do apologise. Because what he pointed out to me is that the offensive properties of Poison Strike appear to be a damn sight more reliable within a 7-metre range. Now, I don't expect you guys to work out what that is. Basically, that means you'll actually hit and do the damage and detonate the explosions most reliably at the attack's default range. See, when you extend the travel distance, it doesn't appear to extend the attack range too, which is either a bug or yet another poorly conveyed function of the game. I mean, seriously, why the fuck is it that Bioware can offer such a clear and powerful explanation to, like, why a fictional light in the campaign is blue and yet be so unclear as to what the powers or do or how the players can use them in the game? Some of the power descriptions are a real mess. They're an absolute mess. But, you know, even with this knowledge, though, I still find the power really temperamental, I gotta say. It's either inconsistent or just asks too much of the player, because in practice it is easily thrown off from performing its basic functions, as is the character in general. It really is. I mean, like I said earlier, you won't always shorten the length of the attack. Sometimes you'll just do nothing and get yourself killed. A lot of these rules apply to the evasive abilities too. I mean, you can like aim lower on the floor because you want to do a short poison strike, but because your path's inaccessible, the game just flat out doesn't let you poison strike, and you know, it just leaves you incredibly vulnerable when you obviously had other plans. It's just something you got to work out for, and also you've got to worry about, as usual, the one button to rule them all. I think this is going to be it. Yeah, look at that. Tried to jump into cover because there was a ton of enemies over there, but instead I teleported right into the thick of it and got absolutely destroyed. So rather than avoid the enemies, I actually went into them. But what are you going to do, guys? But, you know, that's the confusion out of the way. The rest of the character is actually really solid. The Nightshade Blades are fucking awesome. Okay, they really are. The Nightshades are a type of poisonous plant, by the way. Just, you know, the more you know. These things have an incredible radius. They're like the original ballistic blades before they got nerfed. It's almost like they got a 360-degree radius. The range is a lie. I don't know what it is, but it's not 15 meters. Maybe that's the radius. I don't know. You don't need range on a build like this, though. Okay, we can plug the gap easy with all the maneuverability I was just talking about. But, you know, since we don't need the range, we can actually just get a ton of damage done with these because the blades are powerful. They wreck stuff up fast, and the crowd control you have with them is amazing, especially with the exploding blades. You'll stagger on contact, and then again with the explosion. And you know what's really cool? You don't lose the damage over time like you do with the ballistic blades. It just keeps going. I know this because I went to the BioWare social network personally looking for answers to this character and got a reply from a BioWare developer. But then, of course, you've got the poisonous area damage from the explosion. I'm guessing that just damage. I'm guessing that's just damage to enemies caught in the radius of the blast, and nothing too poisonous. You don't seem to apply any more dot with the explosion, although no one answered that question when I asked it. But like the ballistic blades, you won't detonate any combos with them, or prime any for that matter. But unlike the blades, you can paralyze unprotected targets for 7 seconds, which is really cool. It's like putting the enemies in stasis. It's seriously awesome crowd control, guys. Phantoms don't stand a chance. They really don't. You hit them with the blades and she staggers, and she might try to attack you more, but then the blades explode and staggers her again. Her barriers are down. She tries to flip away, but then she's paralyzed, and then you just shoot her. It's wicked crowd control you can do with these things. The blades are my bread and butter. Any group or boss is just going to get slapped with them. I dish them out like I do the Inferno grenades on my Batarian soldier. I'll do like 2 for a group, 3 for a big one, or 3 for a group with a boss. Bosses on their own I'll just sort of dance with and whittle them down. I'll hit them with the blades after every poison strike, because this is what I can do with the character. I can just pile on so much dot so quickly. There's no need to stick around. It's hit and run, guys. I'll go in, I'll hit them with the blades, that'll stagger them, it'll apply poison dot, then I'll shoot them twice with the wraith, that's doing damage there, and then I'm applying incendiary dot, then I'll poison strike through them, and then I'm out of there, so I'm not taking any more damage anymore. I've hit them with the poison strike, I've set off a fire explosion with the poison strike, I've stacked on more poison dot with the poison strike, and then the blades explode doing more damage then, and then my gun is reloaded because I striked the moment I emptied the clip, so I'm able to just turn around and do it again if anything survived. It's pretty badass. It really is. But you don't need to use the wraith. I like the wraith because it hits hard. It keeps me light so I can get my powers off quickly. I just really like that 2-shot strike pattern. Reloading your gun during the charge and turning around to repeat it instantly just feels so badass, like a fucking ninja. It really is. Oh, that's me going down from failed ops packs again. But you can go with something like a Piranha, okay, because that's light again. You've got some great armor damage with it, and the rate of fire will prime those fire explosions nicely. Plus, you're a Turian. You got the stability to aim further with it, so you're a lot softer than other Vanguard. So it's nice to have that option to sort of stay back and still do damage. But, there's the Riga as well, guys. I know that's a medium-weight weapon, but it's simply the best Vanguard weapon because it's the thing you'll do the most damage with up close. Its insane DPS will just make shields a joke, and you'll always get the fire explosions because of it. But you won't even need them because you can potentially just steamroll anything with nightshade blades and the Riga. Just stagger up everything and apply a ton of damage over time in seconds. Just turn this bitch into a soldier with the Riga. But it's not just shotguns, guys. You can go with SMGs, a Hurricane. Yes, it is sweet on the Cabal. You got the Turian stability, so you can aim it in and do some great damage with it. You got the beastly rate of fire that just primes up everything for an explosion, and then you can rock the power magnifier on it as well and do some amazing damage with your blades. You'll have to say goodbye to your heat sink, but that's okay because you're hitting the ammo boxes all the time because you want those nightshade blades. Plus the default clip on the Hurricane is not that bad. You got the Tempest away. That's a decent alternative option, and a collector collector SMG. And you can go with the Blood Pack Punisher. Okay, your blades make short work of all the trash mobs, so you just got some nice armor damage then. But you can go with pistols too. The Talon's a really great choice. You got the power magnifier again. You got great shield damage, so you're going to get those fire explosions going. You can do the reload trick that I'm doing with the Wraith with the Talon as well. Problem is, you got more shots. That actually leaves you standing in front of the enemy longer than I'd recommend. You'll probably want to just sort of get 2 strikes on per clip, sort of breaking it up appropriately. I just found that the pattern got thrown off a lot because of the increased vulnerability. I'm just sort of standing out there shooting. I found myself using biotic focus to survive, and then I'm unable to strike when I needed to. It's nothing you can't work out with practice, but I used the Talon a lot, and I just wanted to pull away from that. I don't think my heart was in it. The Scorpion's a good choice, though. It's not bad. You're not really going to be doing enough armor damage there, though, but you got some incredible crowd control and easy fire explosions. The Eagle, yeah, that's okay. Eagle's amazing with a bit of Turian stability, and that plays like an SMG. And there's the Executioner pistol, okay, guys? Same deal as the Punisher, really. Got himself some nice armor damage. And, you know, and you're a grenade character, okay, guys, so you can easily afford to push yourself up to some medium weight weapons. Things like the Harrier or Lancer would be great simply because they do a ton of damage. The rate of fire on those bad boys will reliably set up fire explosions too. But, you know, if, you know, the poor man could even use a Faceton or a Vindicator because you're in close and you're stable. So, you know, you've got some really nice weapon choices with any character that's a grenade class, to be honest. But for the equipment, I'm definitely going to recommend Incendiary or some kind of elemental ammo. For the tech explosion damage, obviously, but with the Incendiary, you can quickly pile on so much damage over time. This is a real hit-and-run character, as opposed to your sort of traditional front-lining Vanguard. You want to do a lot of damage and get out of there quickly. For the same reason, I'm going to recommend something like the Cyclonic for your armor bonus. Okay, you're a squishy frontliner. Okay, so you're not a frontliner in the sense that you can just take the brunt of damage and absorb all this aggro for the rest of the team. It means that you need to get up close. You're a frontliner because you need to get up close to do any real damage, but you don't want to be taking the damage. You know, without the appropriate tricks, to be honest. But, you know, there's the power amplifier too, okay, because you essentially survive on the fact that you don't stick around, you just do the damage you get out of there. With the power amplifier, you're going to do more damage, so that's not a bad choice. It's hit and run, guys. But you don't go running until the enemy are dead, so you're just going to make sure that they're dead quicker with a power amplifier. The other armor bonus I'd recommend, shield power cells. Yeah, maybe you essentially dance around your enemies, avoiding as much damage as possible. So, you know, it would definitely help if you got your shields back nice and quick when you're doing that. Yeah, but for the gear though, it's grenade capacity, guys. Okay, your nightshade blades are awesome. You want lots of them. You'll be hitting pretty much everything with them because you'll be getting onto the enemies before they can disperse. So you're always going to be like just locking up a group of enemies or a big boss with your nightshade blades. I mean, if you're not going to go for all the grenades, at least have some. Go with something like the Shock Trooper upgrade and the Warfighter package. Hell, even the Assault loadouts. You've got extra thermal clip packs. You want those Nightshade blades. They're too good, guys. They're far too good to ignore. But if you haven't got those things, I mean, there's plenty of new players who just don't have those options yet. And you want to go for just try and get some more power damage done. I really don't know, to be honest. It's very unclear what poison damage is. I did go to the BioWare social network for answers, as I said, but I didn't get any. Poison Strike is in your Biotic Mastery, but Nightshade Blades, much like any other grenades, is not. And, you know, I also don't get any biotic kill medals in this gameplay. I'm assuming there's some type of initial biotic damage with these attacks, and the poison is just some fancy new dot, like bleed damage, okay? Meaning that when you kill them with the damage over time, it's just a general combat kill. So you might benefit from something like the Adaptive War Amp or Commando package if you went with the pistol option, but you're probably better off with the Mental Focuser, guys, if you want to do power damage. But finally, you know, there's your shield options for your gear as per usual. Okay, I'm going to recommend shield strength over shield recharge. You really open yourself up to some damage with this character, but you can't actually take it. So just be ready for that. Now, on that note, the only thing I haven't discussed is Biotic Focus. It's tricky because it does not synergize well with Poison Strike. You could definitely be forgiven for specking out of one or the other and just going for full health. It's very situational for me. I'll use it in a pinch when I think I'm going to die, or I'll take it preemptively to survive an incoming attack, because there's like a half a second immunity with it, which is kind of funky. If you can time it right, you just take no damage. You know, the other time I'll use it is when I'm not going anywhere and I'm trying to hold my ground, you know, for like hacks, escorts and extractions and stuff. It's a very cool power. The problem is it recharges. It's not like the Havoc Soldier who has a gimped Biotic Charge 2 where he can sort of eat a stim pack for shields and then strike. The Biotic Focus is what you do instead of striking, not in combination. You know, so, but the fact that it does recharge and it recharges fast means you can actually spam it faster than it runs out. So you can just sort of live in damage reduction and regenerating barriers. It's a great alternative. It's why I have it, guys. It's so I can switch it up when I need to, because like you saw, we got an extraction for this game, and I needed to stick with the Escort to get it done, so I was just able to stand in there and just fire out my Nightshade Blades and shoot with the Wraith and just keep myself alive by just spamming Biotic Focus, okay? Because I was getting the immunity, I was getting my barriers, I was getting 40% of my barriers back every time. and I had this damage reduction while it was on, and I was basically able to apply a new one before, because this is what you can do. This is what this character is all about. It's all about just stacking the benefits, because you can either go with something like this and just stack a ton of damage over time, or you can go like with a soldier build like I just described and just stack the survivability. Okay, guys. But no, she's a really cool character, despite some unfortunate deaths. I wrecked up the place. Okay, you can. I'm going to go a really nice score, because you can. A lot of people don't think she's very good or very strong, because there's no like initial oomph where you don't hit the enemy and then the damage is done. It's like you hit the enemy and then the damage gets done. It's damage over time, but it's a cool sort of ninja style damage over time. You're just sort of dancing about the enemy, just stacking everything up. You're just piling on all this poison and all this fire, and then you're setting off fire explosions and staggering and exploding. It's cool. It's cool. She's a cool character. I do like the Cabal. There's just some kind of bugs with her which can be irritating. Be ready for them, guys. But there you go, guys. That's the gameplay. Hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I hope you guys aren't so prudish that you go, "Oh, look, you finished the game with only one Medigel. That means you're not very good." Come on, guys. The actual gameplay was pretty solid. I mean, what I did was good. It's unfortunate that I got caught up in some stupid shit. It happens to all of us. Let's be honest, guys. And I hope you've enjoyed the series. Okay, because that's everybody. Now that's everybody done. That's the end of the list. The last Vanguard, the last class. If you haven't checked all the others out, check them out, because throughout them I show you how to play every race, every power, everything you need, guys. Please comment, rate and subscribe if you enjoyed it. There's a new series on the way, and I look forward to having you there.